displays. Welcome and happy Mother's Day as we celebrate our theme for the month. Be what you were created to be, a glorious, shining human flower in God's incredible garden of life. And that comes from Unity Minister John Strickland and from Hosea 14:7. They shall flourish as a garden, they shall blossom like the vine. So let us start with an opening prayer. On this Mother's Day, we acknowledge the role of those who nurture us and have in our lives. Some of us have fond and happy thoughts about our mothers, their love and support, sacrifice and hard work, compassion and teaching. For others, perhaps our experiences and memories are not so sweet. The difficult or embarrassing mother, the times when our moms could not cope, the absent mother, the one who was addicted, self-obsessed, or struggling with mental illness. Let us acknowledge our mother was always more than we ever understood. Like the Mother, Father, God we worship, she came before us and she labored to bring us into this world. Let us acknowledge the words from Deuteronomy 32:18. You were unmindful of the rock that bore you, and you forgot the God who gave you birth. This Mother's Day, let us be mindful not only of the women who gave us birth, but other those nurturing figures who have supported us and who have helped us make us who we are today. We bless the service as we bless every service, whether it's in a temple, synagogue, mosque, church, or center, where the abiding principles, the love, the light, the joy, the peace, the harmony, that is God's, and so it is. So it is. So we want to say hello, first of all, to our friends who are streaming. Thank you for joining us this Sunday morning. I remind you there's no recording of the service, so please turn off or silence your electronic equipment. Joining me today is Matt Toronto, Richard Berent, and Bob is back there on AV. Thank you, team. Happy to have you with us. Next week, our team will be Liz Racy, Joy McPherson and Diamond McNeil will be platforms. Richard and Bob will handle music and singing, and Eric will be on AV. We invite you, of course, to join us always for refreshments after service, especially if this is your first time visiting us. We are a member of the Burbank Human Relations Council, so we participate in their... Am I the only one here? No, you're not. We're here. So we are members of the Burbank Human Relations Council. So we participate in the yearly Day of Remembrance, which is an interfaith gathering in remembrance of the Holocaust. This year it is Tuesday, May 12th, and it's going to be at one of the schools. And they don't have actually a Holocaust survivor speaking. She was 14 when she was taken away to the camps. She's an artist and a writer, and she will be speaking. I read a stat that said, if we were to take a moment of silence for each of the over 6 million Jews, freedom fighters, gypsies, gays, priests, nuns, mentally ill, physically handicapped, and righteous Christians who had died in the Holocaust, we would be silent for 11 and a half years. It's a very moving event. I invite any of you to come. I'm happy to drive if anybody would like to tag along with me. Also a reminder that we have a handout with answers to your questions from the membership meeting. It's on the back table. And Bob just handed me this. This is exciting. Our Caesar is having his music concert this spring, Saturday, May 30th, right here. So we don't have to traipse anywhere else. It's at 4 p.m. right here. It's free admission. You get to see the kids and support the kids. They're really wonderful. So thank you. Bob, do we still have the 2 slides that show the...
That one?
Yeah, so yay, we have a website up and running, which is very exciting, so thank you. Now if anybody has the talent to update it, please raise your hand or see one of us after church. We'd appreciate that. And we also have now an email that is working. So thank you all. Thanks for everybody who came together to make that work. Okay, so now we're going to play a little game. Karen, like it's like a bad thing. Okay, I'm going to ask, what mother in here has a child over 30? Raise your hand. Louisa, thank you. Who in here has a child over 35? Who in here has a child over 40? Who in here has a child over 42? 43? 44? 63, can anyone be 63? My BB, congratulations. We know the joyful burden, I will call it, of motherhood does not end, as many of us who have children over 18 and kind of thought it was going to be all done or on their own. So thank you for lighting the way for all of you. Okay, now Sky, how old are you?
I'm 14.
Anybody else have a child 14 or under here?
I wish.
So Mama Toronto. I'm going to ask Jim Delaine to come up, if he would come up and light the unity candle for us. Yeah, you know, I probably should have emptied the water out beforehand. There's a little bit.
I actually should have wrapped it by the face.
As you know, this little candle has been here for, well, since December 22, when we celebrated our Christmas candle lighting service. And it's been a rotating candle, actually, so it's not actually this, but it belongs to someone who was here for our Christmas service. So we bless this person holding their information in long families, and so it is. Okay. Now, will you join me, please, in the opening statement? There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the good, Amen. So we're going to get ready for meditation. I invite you to put your feet on the ground, connected to Mother Earth. If it feels comfortable, to put your hands in your lap in the open receiving mode, and to close your eyes to get centered. May I ask Richard to do the chant, please?
The God of me beholds, the God of you. The God of me beholds, the God in
Yes, so just move that over. Did you just move that over? Thank you. Okay. So, we start with the breath. And with every breath, we breathe in love and light as we find our way to the quiet within. So this Mother's Day, to those of you in this lifetime who have given birth, we celebrate with you. To those who have lost a child, we mourn with you. To those who are in the trenches, our teachers, our caregivers, our nurses, our doctors, we appreciate you. To those who experience loss through miscarriage, failed adoptions, running away, or in disappointment, heartache, and distance with your children, we sit with you. To the foster moms, mentor moms, and spiritual moms, we need you. To those who have warm and close relationships with your children, we celebrate with you. To those who've lost their mothers, we grieve with you. To those who experienced abuse at the hands of your own mother, we acknowledge your experience. To those who have needed to end a pregnancy, we remember you and them on this day. To those of you who long to mother your own children, we hold you in love, and if you walk the hard path of infertility, we walk with you. To those who step-parent, we walk with you on these complex paths. To those who place children up for adoption, we commend you for your selflessness and remember how you hold that child in your heart. And to those who are pregnant with new life, both expected and surprising, we anticipate with you. This Mother's Day, we walk with all of you. Mothering is not for the faint of heart. and we have real warriors in our midst. We remember you always. So we take these thoughts as we move into the silence. We invite you to come back into the presence of the sacred room. And today, instead of the Lord's Prayer, we are going to read a prayer written by Reverend Stan House, who was our first minister in the space. So together we say, Our Mother, who lives within us, love you thy name. Let your world appear, let your throne come, created toward each other, as it is in a sacred heart. Nourish us this day with the spirit of love, and let us forgive ourselves as we forgive others. And lead us not in our self-seeking, but deliver us from the very belief of evil. For yours is the realm of joy, the heart of peace, and the grace of God. Amen. So thank you with group singing now. Oh, I'm sorry, Richard. I sometimes have mother's brain, even though I have a 30-year-old child. Okay.
Flowers grow, I've heard, in distant places, places that you'd never think they'd grow, sprouting with a splendidness of beauty, defying everything we think we know. Flowers bloom, I've heard, in far-flung corners of the world we've never seen, dazzling with the moment of the season, with peace that is so hopeful and serene. No more waiting for the moment when we do the same. We must show the farthest reaches of our hearts can grow in any climate, any wind swept hill. We can never let our spirits come apart. If those flowers grow in misty mountains, why can't we be just the very same? Growing with intensity and passion, defying defying every rule that you could name. Flowers grow, I've heard, in distant places, places that you'd never think they'd grow, sprouting with the splendidness of beauty, defying everything we think we know.
So much, Richard. It seems like a kind of perfect introduction to Matt Toronto, who is speaking on flowers for Mother. Please help me welcome Matt to the day.
Thank you, Christine. Richard, gorgeous as always. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you on Mother's Day. What a wonderful, wonderful thing. I want to preface what I have to say with this caveat. I don't want anybody here, I'm going to talk about mothers. And at the risk of sounding like I'm mansplaining motherhood, I want to make sure that all I'm delivering is what I've witnessed and seen in the mothers in my life. And I want to share the messages that I have gleaned in the hopes that it will speak to you and help your inner garden grow. Let's start with a little story. Not a story, an experiment, a cruel one. In the 1950s, Dr. Kurt Richter of Johns Hopkins Hospital conducted a fairly gruesome experiment. But I want to talk about it because it's really interesting what he found. He was experimenting on rats. And what he would do is take a rat and put it in water and watch how long it could tread water until it gave up and died and drowned. Horrible, right? And it took about 15 minutes, under 15 minutes for most of the rats. Put them in the water, let them drown. It took them about 15 minutes. Then he did another experiment where he would put the rats in the water, and just before he could tell that they were about to give up and let themselves go, he would rescue them, dry them off, hold them, feed them, give them recovery time. And then the next day, or whenever, I don't know how long the recovery time was, but enough for them to feel their strength return, he would put them in the water again. Guess how long they would swim for? 60 to 80 hours. Hours. Right? Just absolutely mind-blowing. And the conclusions he drew were interesting. You know, he talked about hope, that they treaded water for so long because they believed that there was rescue, that rescue would eventually come. And I think that's probably true. I think there's a big element of hope in that. I think that's a beautiful idea, in spite of the horribleness of this. Again, I don't want anybody emulating this experiment. But since they already did it, I would like to apply it in our lives and find out what it can teach us. But I think there's something different about what happened to those rats that has to do with hope, sure, but there's something else. And I think it has to do with mothers and what mothers can do for us. But what happened in my mind is when the doctor rescued the rats, he mothered them, warmed them, cared for them, gave them comfort. And while, yes, it may have been the hope that sustained them for the next 60 to 80 hours when they went back in the water, but I think there was empowerment in the comfort they received. That is, the mothering that the doctor did for these rats made them believe, hey, I went through something, 15 minutes worth, or whatever it was, and then somebody took care of me, helped me, and I recovered. I made it through this really tough time. I could probably do it again, and for longer. Right? So it's not just hope, but there's this intense empowerment in the comfort that a mother can provide. I find that interesting because so many times we think about motherhood, that, you know, the sort of the stereotype that we have of mothers is that mothers protect their children. Maybe you know, you got a mama's boy who's like, they protect them a little too much and they don't let them take risks and they're kind of, right? And while that could be true, sure, there may be some truth in that, but I find this even more interesting, that the protection itself, the comfort, the warmth that a mother's love can provide, actually empowers a child for their next adventure. Because they believe that they can handle it. And then if they can't, there's a place to return. And then if it hurts, if it's hard, if the struggle is difficult, if you swallow a lot of water and you're on the verge of drowning, you still believe that you can survive. And I think that's a very, very powerful thing. So that return to safety, I think it teaches us to be daring. And I saw this in my own life. I actually have I have video proof of it. My parents, they were both in the psychology department at the University of Michigan. They got their doctorates in psychology. My mom became a psychoanalyst. My dad was in organizational behavior. But as we grew up in Ann Arbor near the University of Michigan, and so my parents were still connected to the School of Psychology and Social Work there, and so they let us participate as kids in a couple of studies that other, you know, their friends and, you know, other scientists were sort of conducting. And one was just an observational study. They just wanted to see how kids play. And so I was a toddler, and it's this great black and white sort of, you know, this was 1970, probably 7, I guess, so you can calculate my age from there. But it's black and white video of me in this sort of playroom at the university where they were doing the study, and my mom's there with me, and it's just a long video of me playing, not doing much, but there was this progression that I found really interesting, especially given the rats that we were talking about. This is a much more humane way to kind of experience this. But I started out in my mom's lap, but there were toys everywhere. And I was like, cool toys. So after a minute or two of getting comfortable in the room, I climbed down and I went and visited a toy. And then I was there for a minute or two, and then I went back to my mom. And she held me for a while I just sort of recovered, like the drowned rat, the wet rats. And then I ventured out to another toy. And I stayed a little longer. I went a little further in the room. The room was, you know, fairly large, not giant, but it was fairly large. I went a little further and then returned. And she comforted me and talked, and we did, you know, nothing big. I wasn't being traumatized like the rats. I was just going out to play. But I would go out and I would go and stay a little longer and then come back. And then I would go even further out and stay a little longer. And sometimes I didn't come back, but I would always talk to Mom and show her things. The thing I said that is now quoted in our family all the time is, I found a jack-in-the-box that and it sort of scared me, but I love the jack-in-the-box. But I showed my mom the jack-in-the-box, and the famous quote is, "It had hands. It had hands." That's how I said it, right? It had hands. But I was like, look at this, Mom. The jack-in-the-box, it has hands like me, or whatever, you know. But all I was doing is just reporting back to my mom. And this is a story that kind of, it's in all of our literature, right? That going off to seek adventure and then returning home. And it's a sort of recapitulation of the birth story, right? You're there, cozy, in your mother's womb, safe, sound, warm, and then you go through this trauma of childbirth, and it's traumatic for mom too, but it's an adventure. And then, how do you soothe the baby? As quickly as possible, you try to recreate the feeling of being in the womb. That's why, I became an expert at swaddling my kids, because I was like, I can't deal with crying anymore. So I was remumifying them, right? And that is part of what is happening here. And so it's this cycle that goes over and over. And it isn't a cycle that makes us soft. It's a cycle that makes us strong. Isn't that beautiful? The softness of mother. And I'm speaking of mother in the grandest sense, because sometimes I was mother. In fact, when I was being my best self as a dad, it's usually when I was acting like a mother. And it's something that empowers us. The softness, the comfort, the recuperation empowers us to go bigger, to try more, to take adventures, to dare. I didn't understand that that's what my mother was doing for me, but she did it. And I think that's why mothers tend to be so underappreciated, except for on Mother's Day. We tend to underappreciate or not notice what mothers are doing for us when they're doing things for us. Not every mother is capable of doing this, but in terms of when mothering is really at its best, this is one of the things they're doing for us, but we don't see it because it's this all-encompassing love that surrounds us. And it's like the fish in the ocean that doesn't understand there's an ocean, right? That it's swimming in. Just like a baby, an infant in the womb doesn't understand that there's a mother that it's swimming in. And when we come out, we have this experience with our mothers, and they surround us with this love and this comfort. We can't see it sometimes. And so most of what I learned about mothering, I learned later. In fact, from my wife, Jordan, when I watched her mother, I would see her mother and recognize what my mother had done for me. Because I was finally able to see the ocean I was swimming in. I watched it as she taught me how to be a mother. So let me talk a little bit about my wife Jordan and the mothering that I've seen her do. And there is this abiding love that she has, that my kids swim in, that I swim in. And so I could talk a little bit more about that, but I want to talk about some of the, I don't know if it's unusual, but the more interesting aspects that you might not think of what a mother does. And these are some things that Jordan does. Jordan is the finder. She is the finder, right? The kids are laughing because she is the finder in our house. If something is missing, Jordan finds it. And it's because she knows where everything is. And you're like, okay, all right, that's fine. It's probably because she has a really good mind for detail. I'm gonna tell you something about Jordan. She does not have a good mind. That's not what it is. It's not her. I mean, she has, look, about certain things, she has this incredible capacity for memory. But certain details, no, she does not have a good mind for it. So that's not what it is that powers this superpower. She cares about what my kids care about. I do too, I try to. She's really good at it though. And so I'm sort of remedial, but I'm doing that. But she cares about what the kids care about. And the kids say, Mom, where is mine? And when she goes to look for it, she doesn't say, oh, you can do without it. Oh, it's not important. Oh, it's not a big deal. Where is my Pokemon card? It's not really a big deal. But if it's a big deal to Sky, it's a big deal to Jordan. And that's the message she continually sends. If it's important to you, it's important to me. And that matters. And so what happens most of the time, sometimes Jordan just finds it because she knows where it is. Because she knows, she'll see a thing and she's like, oh, I see that Pokemon card. And that's important to Sky. Note it. So she knows where it is. Sky's like, where is mine? Oh, it's over in the... And she does it for me too. It's really sweet. She doesn't have to, right? But she does it anyways, which is very nice. But more often than not, one of the kids just says, Mom, I can't find my blah, 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 my dance shoes. Jordan walks into the room, and the kids find it. It's powerful. It's not that Jordan finds it. Often she does. But as often as she finds it, she just walks in the room, and the kids go, oh, there it is. And I'm like, what is it? Because it's not like coincidence. It is literally magical. It happens. And it's proven over and over and over again in our household. And I believe it's because she comes into the room and the kids relax. They sigh and somebody is there to help. Somebody is there that cares. And so it opens their own mind and suddenly they find it. And it's a very, very powerful thing. And so you're like, well, this doesn't matter because it's just about like finding dance shoes and Pokemon cards. But when it's about finding yourself, right? There's something powerful, deeply powerful, that mother, like my wife, provides for her children. She also taught me the hands-off approach to success. Because I'm a very high-achieving kind of guy. And I'm like, all right, I got to do things, make things happen, blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, well, let's get the kids on a path to success. And so we were like, all right, yeah, I was like, yeah, they should be doing this, they need to be doing that, extracurricular activities, learning this, learning that, all of these things so that they can like grow and succeed and be amazing. And Jordan watched me try to do that a little bit, and just sort of, it seemed like she was laughing at me a little. But she eventually, as my sort of hard-headedness subsided, she taught me a better way. She's like, what if we don't make the kids do anything? In fact, let's let them do anything they want to do. As long as it doesn't hurt them or somebody else, let them do it. And don't make them do something else. And I was like, whoa, but then they're going to be lazy. They're not going to grow up and have it. And she was like, okay, first of all, let's see. And second of all, so what? If they grow up and are happy, that's all that matters. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. That really is like what I genuinely want down deep is not for my kids to succeed, but for them to be happy, to feel happy, to have lives that are fulfilling, that they enjoy. And so, we did that. And lo and behold, the kids got super creative. And they were like, hey, I want to do this thing. And all we did was like, yeah, let's do it. How can we help? We facilitated. Right? And then all of a sudden, they're doing all of these amazing things. And I was like, well, they're never going to study. Turns out they do. I'm like, what? Right? And we would have other parents. And I'm only saying I'm writing about this because it's really all Jordan. I was just sort of like riding the coattails. But parents would come up and be like, how do you get your kids to this, to study, to that, to blah, blah, blah. Whatever they were doing that was sort of wonderful. They do a lot of wonderful things. I'm not going to lie about that. And our answer was always the same. Is we don't get them to do anything. They do it mostly because we're hands-off and we're just like, whatever you want to do, go. And we'll help. And it turns out they want to do stuff. And they want to do interesting, cool, amazing stuff that we never would have thought of. And if we'd been like, do this, because this is what we did, or this is what I think they should do, they never would have discovered. My daughter Sky is parkour. We never would have discovered parkour on our own. We just... Nice. Oh, fellow parkourists? All right, very good. Very good. Right. Like, how would we discover that? If we didn't just let her find the way to it. Right? common conversation in our house. The kids would come home and complain about something at school. Oh, this happened, my teacher, blah, 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 whatever it was. And I started doing this too. Jordan started it, but then I caught on pretty quick. We were like, okay, then quit school. Seriously, let's quit school. Do you want to do homeschooling? Let's do it. And we would threaten them with that. And inevitably, they'd be like, no, I don't want to quit school. And they would want to stay. But Jordan was serious. I wasn't at first. But then eventually I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm serious. If you want to quit, let's quit. Don't go to school. Do something else. And to prove how serious we were doing, it was during the pandemic. And we were doing online school. And that was not great. Actually, our older two kids, Clementine and Kayla, I loved it. Because they were on their own, it was very independent, blah, blah, blah. But Sky, you could see the fire in Sky's eyes just dying. Like, the curiosity and love for learning was disappearing. It was just not a good environment for her to learn in from a screen. And it was misery. And so we had that conversation with Sky, and we were like, do we need to quit school? And she said yes. She was like, this is not working for me. So what did Jordan do? I helped. I mean, I'm trying to, but like she was spearheading these things. So we decided, and we luckily we had some resources. Grandma, another mom, an amazing mother, Jordan's mom, was like, hey, I think we could afford to pay a tutor to come and tutor. It was during the pandemic, so Sky would be tutored every morning from 9 to noon in our backyard by this amazing woman that we found on a shoot that we had done. She was on set tutor, and during the pandemic, she had no work. And so we were like, what if we hired you to be Sky's tutor every day? And so we put our money, or at least Grandma's money, where our mouth was, and we let her quit school. And it was one of the best things we ever did. And she grew and learned so much, and suddenly the fire for learning came back. And then when we went back into school, we were like, do you want to stay at home and continue to, and she was like, no, I want to go back. And she did. And she's been doing great. And it's, anyways, I'm getting off track here. But not really. Because the track sort of builds itself as we go. Let me talk about one more thing that Jordan was really good at, and she was really good at comforting the rats, the rugrats. But she would keep what they want, and then comfort them through the pain of it. So Clementine was auditioning for Footloose she was in 6th grade. Oh, she remembers. She remembers. She was auditioning for Footloose at her middle school, production of the musical Footloose. And she was a 6th grader, youngest in the school, first semester, and she had been called back to play. She was very mature, had a very mature presence. You can see that even now. So she'd been called back for one of the moms, to play one of the moms, which was a lead role and had a song, and she was a 6th grader. And so Jordan was taking her to the audition, and Clementine was freaking out. Like, just totally freaking out. And Jordan had convinced her to wear like more sort of motherly like clothes, and she was like, nobody's gonna be doing this, blah, blah. And it was this whole thing. And Jordan said, look, you don't have to audition at all. Don't do it. And then she was just like, do you want to or not? And Clementine said, yes, I want to audition. I want to be in the play. She said, okay. And so Jordan comforted her while she was weeping, but then put her in the water. And guess what? Clementine got the role over all the 7th and 8th graders. Again, this is the sad part of this story is it was right before the pandemic hit, and so the production was canceled. But the message that Jordan's mothering said, oh, and she said, and when you're done, guess where you can come? Right back here, right? And we'll get ice cream or whatever she did, right? But she was gonna warm her back up, towel her off, blow dry her, whatever she needed, right? After swimming in the water that she was afraid of. And so she did that. And so the fact that the play got got canceled was actually irrelevant in many ways, because what it showed Clementine is that she's capable of doing really scary things and still being safe. And so now Clementine, as this performer, she's about to go off to study musical theater at top university at Boston Conservatory at Berkeley. And she's really, and this is due in large part to Jordan's mothering and me following her example, where we provide space, a safe space for her to come home and be comforted after treading water at school all day or at the audition or at the rehearsal. That's tough, right? And now she's going to tread water for longer and longer and longer as she goes out and does these amazing things without us. But she's always welcome back home. Good. All right. One more thing about Jordan, and then I'm gonna wrap things up. I think. I tell you these stories because I believe they're applicable in our lives. All of us who aren't mothers, even if you aren't a mother, or if you didn't have a mother as awesome as Jordan, this applies, and you can have that in your life. And we're going to talk about that. So just hold on to that. I'm giving you a little piece of hope, so you can keep treading water while I talk about how amazing my wife is as a mother. But she has this habit of going. She goes on walks, and she takes pictures of flowers. I asked her this morning, in her phone, she has 82,722 pictures of flowers. Think about that number. She's been doing this for years. Years. 82,000 photos. And they are gorgeous. And over time, she's gotten better at it. It's been a masterclass in photography. They are gorgeous. She sells them at a thrift shop, too. I mean, people buy them. It's amazing. But that's not why she does it. She doesn't do it to sell them. It's a meditation practice for her. And all it is just by taking this out, taking the photo, she takes a moment and says, there's beauty here. And that's it. And I go on walks with her often. You don't get very far. It's like walking with a toddler. Like, she stops at every flower, every beautiful. She also does if she sees like a face in the sidewalk, she'll take pictures. Anyway, so we walk very slowly and we stop and meditate on the beauty of these flowers, and they're gorgeous. But she does it with the kids too. She takes a lot of pictures of the kids. I didn't find out how many pictures she has of the kids.
It's like 16,000.
Yeah. It's like 16,000 Clementine alone. Just Clementine, right? And yes, sometimes the kids are like, enough with the pictures. But again, it's sending this deeper message to the kids that she's like, there's beauty here. There's something amazing happening here. And it's you. You are the flower I'm seeing right now. Isn't that a beautiful thing? To have someone follow you around in your life and say, there's beauty here. You're doing something special here. Something about you is wonderful. Simply because you're there. And we don't all have that. Or maybe we used to and it's not there anymore with the humans in our lives. But I'm here to tell you, it's there. It's called God, the universe, the source. There, taking pictures, realizing that what you're doing is important, that it matters, it's noteworthy, it's beautiful. I wish I could tell you who this is about, but I'm going to tell you a story that I remember from 20 years ago, probably. But I read this article by a rabbi. Don't know who it is. All I can tell you is what he said. But he was talking about, he was in a conversation with some people of other faiths. And he was taking some heat because they were like, your God, it seems so petty. Because God is asking you to do this on the Sabbath, and this, and then, like all of the living this really strict life. He was an Orthodox Jew, and just leading this incredibly strict life. And he's like, doesn't that make God seem petty? And the rabbi's answer was astounding. On the contrary, he said. It means that the God of the universe, the God that created the sun, the moon, and all of the stars, cares what I eat, cares about what I do on a daily basis. I matter that much. And that's how when a mother can share that with their children. That's the voice of God. Do we see this? The power of a mother, mothering, is the power of source, the power of God, the power of creation, and the power to care about Pokemon cards, dance shoes, earrings, whatever it might be. My wife loves my children like they are her limbs, like they are the heart outside of her body. And this comes back to the definition that I've shared many times at this pulpit of love. It's Eckhart Tolle's definition, but love is the feeling, realization of oneness. And for a mother who has carried a child inside of them, nothing equates to that kind of oneness in our experience, in our mortal experience, more than that. And so when we are experiencing that feeling of love, we recognize our oneness with one another, with each other. And so the plea I make is to mother more people. Become a mother. We are here to honor mothers, honor the best of who mothers are. But in this instance, when you don't have a mother, maybe your mother wasn't so mothery, or maybe your mother's gone now. Maybe you don't have that mother to honor. Honor the mother inside of you and become one to someone. Anyone. Mother them. Care about them. Comfort them. Care about what they care about. And see what it does in their lives. And more importantly, or as importantly, let me say it that way, mother yourself. If you do not have that person that follows you around with a camera and says, what you're doing belongs in the record. What you're doing is beautiful, special, noteworthy. Provide that for yourself because you can. You have the power inside of you to recognize that. And if you take the time to comfort yourself after an adventure / trauma, watch and see what you can achieve after that. Much more than treading water for 80 hours. Much more. I'm going to leave you with one last thought because it's going to tie back to this idea of flowers. I love this metaphor of flowers for mothers on Mother's Day, because I believe a flower represents, the garden of their life. Like, the flower is a representative of their children. You made something beautiful. You nurtured something beautiful. You planted it, grew it, and here it is. And when you find that you are in need of mothering, sometimes we don't feel we have the capacity to mother someone else or ourselves. Return to nature. Return to Mother Earth. Spend time among the trees, in the water, in the mountains, on the beach, with animals, with the fruits of Mother Earth. And you will rediscover, you will find the comfort, the restoration. You will find that this planet is cradling us in a towel, blow-drying us with its breath, preparing us when we return into that womb, preparing us for our next adventure, for much more than 80 hours. So let the flowers be a metaphor on this Mother's Day for embracing the mother inside of you, the source. And in this space at Unity, we talk a lot about Christ consciousness. And I'd like to remind you that you should also carry Gaia consciousness with you as you live your kind of flowers bloom in your own life. And so it is.
That song I did a few moments ago was a song I wrote. And this one is a song that I'll be performing downtown in about an hour. Yes. By Rodgers and Hammerstein. I changed like 1 or 2 lyrics. Our mother says that flowers keep growing, rivers keep flowing too. Our father says he doesn't know why, but somehow or other they do. Somehow or other they do. 100 million miracles. 100 million miracles are happening every day, and those who say they don't agree are those who do not hear or see. 100 million miracles. 100 million miracles are happening every day. When a dark blue curtain is pinned by the stars to the sky, every flower and tree is a treat to see. The air is very clean and dry. Then a wind comes blowing the pins all away. Night is confused and upset. The sky falls down like a clumsy clown. The flowers and the trees get wet. 100 million miracles. 100 million miracles are happening every day. And when the wind shall turn its face, the pins are put right back in place. 100 million miracles. 100 million miracles are happening every day. In every single minute, so much is going on. Along the longest river, or the Tiber, or the Don. 100 million miracles. A swallow in Tasmania is sitting on her eggs, and suddenly the eggs have wings and eyes and beaks and legs. 100 million miracles. A little child is standing just 30 inches tall, decides that she will try to walk and nearly doesn't fall. 100 million miracles. 100 million miracles. 100 million miracles are happening every day. Our mother says that flowers are growing over the eastern hill. Our father says he doesn't know why, but somehow or other they will.
Thank you so much. Also, I wanted to mention that Richard is the assistant music director of the Flower Drum Song at East West Players downtown, and it's a wonderful production if you have the chance to go see it. It really is beautiful. So now we're going to say Matt's affirmation. It should be behind me on the wall, and together we say, I
She lives in me as I live through her. And so it
Tell me what's next, somebody. Is it the prayer for that?
Unity of it.
Oh, this is my favorite part. How could I have forgotten this?
Maybe the prayer box first.
What?
The prayer box first.
Oh, okay. But first we're going to do the prayer box. Can I have Diana bring that up? Thank you. Here at Unity, we like to rub our hands together to get that energy going as we direct our energy to this. And we see each prayer seeker as God sees them strong, robust, healthy, and perfect in body and mind. And so it is. Thank you, Diana. So now we come to my favorite slide. If you have felt spiritually fed today, we invite you to give as Spirit leads you and to give a hug to help Unity grow. You can do that also. There's a QR code. If you forgot your checkbook or whatever, you can take a picture of that later. At some point, we'll have a QR code on the program, but for right now, what we like to do is say our affirmation for this. So together, we say, Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Together to get that energy going as we bless these gifts, knowing that there is more than enough in God's grace. We thank the generous hearts of the generous givers. Know that these gifts will be spread throughout the country, our little Burbank, and the world to spread the light, love, joy, and peace that is God's, and so it is. So on behalf of Matt, Richard, Bob, I want to thank you for keeping this divine appointment with us this morning. Please join Liz, Joy, and Diamond, Bob, and Richard and Eric next week as we continue our main theme, Be What You Were Created to Be, a glorious, shining human flower. So before we make our circle, and most of us were given little items of motherly advice. Treat people the way you want to be treated. A frown is just a smile, turns upside down. Always wear clean underwear. The rest of that was you never know when you're going to be hit by a truck, which I never quite saw how the two connected each other.
Maybe it happened when you got hit.
It's just whatever your mom said. I invite you to remember those words this week as we honor the women who led the way and helped make us who we are today. So we're going to make a circle. If you're new here, I will remind you that the words are going to be on the back on the slide. You need a little help. So let's make our circle.
Praise
and mothers inside of us as we honor Mother Earth. And so it is.
And so it is.